all the way originally from Australia. Now she's, I believe, in Miami, undefeated bantamweight, Avril Mathie, who this Saturday night takes on Judith Hochbold at the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta. Avril, how you been?
Good. How about you?
I can't complain. Just another big show coming up this Saturday night. I know you were late getting an opponent, but you just got it. We're a few days out. And what are your thoughts going into this fight on Saturday in Atlanta?
I'm excited. She's going to be a little bit smaller than me. Apparently, that was the best they could find me. It was difficult, but I'm just super grateful to have a fight at all. And John Benanati, he's flying a girl in from Poland to fight me. So that's exciting, when you get to fight someone from a different part of the world. And every different part of the world has a different style. So hopefully this is something I haven't been exposed to before and I can learn a few things from her.
7-0-1 with 3 knockouts. You're making your 2022 debut. Your last fight you fought in Dubai. Talk about that experience.
It was interesting with the time difference. I couldn't sleep until like 6 a.m. every day. And then so I was waking up at like 3 p.m., which was fine because at the time when I was getting in the ring, that's like the time when I'm getting in the gym for training in the morning usually. So that bit was fine. The bit that killed me was the weigh-in was at like 10 in the morning. So it felt like I was up at like 1 a.m. like the day before the fight, but whatever. By the time I got in the ring, I felt great and it was all fine. And the opponent that I had, she was deceivingly, she didn't look that strong, but she was the hardest hitting opponent that I've ever faced. So after the first couple punches, I was like, oh shit, can't like get hit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to get hit and just, sometimes you'll just take a few to give a few.
Yeah.
But not the case with this opponent. I was like, if I get hit with too many of these, then I'm going to be in trouble. So I had to, which I'd been working on anyway, be very evasive and get in, get out. But as such, I wasn't throwing many like combinations and stuff like that. It was a lot more pot shotting. The last couple of rounds, I figured out the timing and her style a little bit to sort of get in, get out on an angle, because she was also not throwing punches directly straight down the middle, that it was easy to find those angles either. It was a little bit coming from every direction sometimes. So yeah, the last couple of rounds I figured out where I needed to be able to get a few more than just 1 or 2 punches off. So yeah, it was a good lesson, that one. And I felt super relaxed the whole way through the fight from start to finish for the first time in a while or ever. So yeah, that was good.
And she was undefeated. She was 2-0-1 coming into the fight. So that give you confidence. And like you said, when you got in there, she hit pretty hard. It give you confidence to go in and do that. You look like on the scorecards you won every round. So what did that do for your confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I've been always wanting to fight better and better opponents. And when you beat someone that's good, then you're sort of like, okay, cool. Like I'm ready for the next challenge. So yeah, definitely. It was fun. It was a fun fight.
Where do you feel you are in, your development? Obviously you've been a pro now for about 4 years. Where do you feel you are? Do you see and feel the improvement with each fight?
For sure. And more so like with each training camp, I haven't had a fight since September, the one in Dubai, but I've been training pretty hard most of that time, so yeah, every few months of training that I'm like committed and all in, I really feel and see the difference. So I'm excited for this fight. We've been working on a few things that I really needed to fix, and I've been putting on good performances in sparring, so I'm pretty excited to show that in the fight.
There's been a real, I feel, and you probably do too, a real uptick in women's boxing, especially since the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano fight. Other big fights with Clarissa Shields and Cameron against Kaylee Reese are going to happen. You're 7-0-1. You obviously you have a big following. From not only your boxing career but your modeling career as well. When do you feel? How many more is it a number of fights you feel that we start mentioning Avril Mathie in some of those big fights?
I hope so. I want to fight Ebanie Bridges next. I
was getting. I want to get to that in a minute because that fight, you open up the door. So let's go there. Obviously, you're both bantamweights. She's a world champion, both from Australia. Both have very big followings. That could be a real massive fight. I mean, is that something that I guess, since she's kind of exploded on the scene over the last year or so, that, I mean, talk about that and, what that would mean to you. Obviously, Australia, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fight that really excites me, especially since she won her world title belt. But even before that, like, she's got a great personality, especially in the public eye. She's got a lot of personality, and so do I. And we're both not shy. So I think it would just be really fun, a good match of styles. Personally, I think beneficial for me. And it's just a fight that I'm excited to have. She tries really hard, and she brings a good fight. So that's the kind of fights that I want.
Have you two? I mean, obvious question. Both being from Australia, you guys know each other a little bit at all, or no?
We've never met, but we've talked on social media a bunch of times about fighting too. Like, we both want to fight each other. So yeah.
And obviously, coming on the heels of what just happened in Australia over the weekend with George Kambosos and Haney, over 41,000 people there. There is a I guess an appetite for boxing in Australia when the proper thing, and I think obviously you two would probably shut down the country.
I mean, I'd hope so, because that crowd looked electric on the weekend. And it would be really cool to fight in front of a crowd like that, for sure.
With something like that, obviously, and you have a similar amount of fights, just around 10 fights. You'll be making your 9th appearance on Friday night. You feel a win, a knockout, a big performance Saturday night in Atlanta. I mean, is that when, obviously you mentioned it here, but is that when maybe you start beating the drum a little bit louder for that fight?
Honestly, the only reason I haven't been beating the drum sooner is because I've been in between visas. So I know that she fights a lot, not really in the US at all. She fights in the UK. And
in fact, I think she just moved to the UK. So
yeah, and then also where do I see a fight like between us happening? Either the UK or Australia would be most likely. But since December last year, I've been stuck in the US because I've been in between visas, and it finally got approved. But now I have to go to Switzerland, because I have a Swiss passport too, to get the stamp in the passport. And then after that, then I can travel freely. So it's been, more than 6 months that I've been stuck here. So I didn't really want to be calling anyone out in case I actually got an opportunity, and then I'd be like, fuck, now I can't take it. But once I get that sorted in the next month or so, then I'll definitely be making it known what I want. So
you make it sound so terrible here. You were stuck in the United States.
Of course, I enjoyed myself, but I just didn't have the liberty to be able to leave and come back,
So, I mean, I know you spent time in Greece. Now you say Switzerland. You're from Australia. You live in Miami. You're like you're an all world girl, then, aren't you?
Yeah, I like to travel, and yeah.
But you basically set up your boxing camp in Miami in the United States for your last several fights. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've got a really good coach and a good team as well. There's some really high level girls and guys that I train with, but that makes a big difference, to have that kind of energy alongside you, and regular sparring against really high level girls that you push each other to be better.
And I know I remember when we were in Philadelphia, I think I asked you this question when you're in Philadelphia a couple of years back. Breaking the stigma. Obviously, you have a very successful outside the ring career. Breaking the stigma of just a model who's trying to be boxing. I know how desperately other girls too are trying to break stigmas of we're real fighters too. Has that been difficult for you?
Honestly, I don't really care about stigmas and what other people think. As long as I get fights, that's all that matters. Like, I'm not doing this for anyone else or to impress anyone. Like, I'm doing it because there's something inside me that just wants to, and I get a thrill from it, and I love it. And the personal growth and the improvement from fight to fight, like, it really excites me, and it makes me feel like I'm achieving something worthwhile in life, at least to me anyway, you know. So that's the reason I do this, and I couldn't care less about if other people see me as a model or a boxer or what they think, as long as I keep getting fights. So, and so far so good.
This fight's going to be live on bxngtv.com. And like we said, this is going to be streamed live all over the world. And like we said, you have fans everywhere. I mean, you planted your flag, like you said, the Swiss passport. I know, like I said, Greece, Australia, here in the States. What do you want to tell those fans who are going to be tuning in this Saturday night live in Atlanta?
Yeah, tune in. I've changed a lot as a fighter, and this one's going to be exciting.
There you have it. It's also a terrific card. Former world champion Alfredo Angulo, undefeated fighters Rafael Akpagiori, Peter Dobson, Steve Gaffard, who just fought for the light heavyweight championship. I think there's about 12 or 13 fights that are going to be on the card, and it's going to be a bit. I mean, when you fight on a card like that with some big names, do you think about, you know what, I want to be the one that they remember come Sunday morning?
Always. I always want to be fight of the night.
You fought in Philadelphia. I don't think I've talked to you since then, but what was that? How'd you like that experience coming over here to Philadelphia?
That was cool. Philadelphia fans are real boxing fans. You know, they show up and they scream. Like, I didn't even know anyone in Philadelphia, but there were people, a couple locals, and then also people from New York that knew me, and they came down to watch the fight. And that was cool, you know, like people put in a bit of a trek to actually get there and watch it. And but even not really knowing anybody other than a handful of people were screaming, and they get into it, and they cheer loud, and it's fun.
Well, I had a good time taking you around the city. I remember we got that interview. We did that on Fox. So I don't know if that show's still on. I think once they had you on, that's all they needed. I think they closed that show down.
Oh,
so,
funny.
Well, I look forward to seeing you. I'll be down in Atlanta either Thursday night or Friday. We'll catch up, and I will. We wish you best of luck. And where do they find you on social media?
I'm at Avril Mathie on everything.
There you go. Easy. I interview so many people. Their names their screen names have nothing to do with that's easy. So at Avril Mathie on all the big social media. Avril, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in Atlanta this coming Saturday night live on BXNG TV and at the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta. Thank you very much.
Perfect.